million square feet of workspace. We are located on 1,300 acres, so it's a very large facility. But one of the things I wanted to point out was, besides being a company of 11,000 associates and having contractors, students, and suppliers, we average about 25,000 people here in one day. I've got a little pick on my mark. I apologize for that. Let me try that one more time. There we go. And one of the neat things about our plant is our sustainability. You see the horseshoe-shaped building out front. This is our museum called the Zentrum. It's a German word for center. It is strictly powered by solar panels. We are a zero to landfill waste company, which means anything we do not recycle or reuse. We play a landfill about 8.5 miles away from us to burn our trash. They turn it into methane gas, and we have built a pipeline back. We power over 60% of our plant now with methane gas. So I know I'm limited for time, so I do want to show you this video, and I'll continue to talk over it since there's no sound. We even have hydrogen-powered forklifts and tuggers. So if you know about a combustion engine, you mix gas and air, the oxygen in particular. So hydrogen mixed with oxygen produces water for our exhaust. So very clean burning. It does cost us money to do that, but we just know it's so good for the environment. But it amazes me, as we have grown from building 150 cars a day when I first started 25 years ago to 1,600 cars a day, that we've been able to accomplish some of our goals here. Reduction in water, reduction in waste, and you'll see a little bit further in the video about our energy sources. It's just really impressive to me that we have been able to do that. So we'll just let the video roll, and then I'll pick back up. So, like I say, it's just really impressive to me that we've been able to cut our emissions down and the things we do for our community just by being environmentally friendly. But you all are here to find out about our co-op and our internship program. We officially have a name now to this program after 20-something years. It is called Gen Next, because we strongly believe that the next generation of students will lead our company. You have an aging workforce here at BMW. For example, I've been here 25 years, so we ran our attrition numbers last May and found out that over 60% of our everybody at our plant will be eligible for retirement. I'm not counting down, but I have 3 years, 11 months, and let me look at my watch, 5 days. So we've got to replace people. And from a business standpoint, it makes more sense to bring students in where they can build a network while they're here. They can prove themselves. And then with their youth, they can offer our company longevity. If I'll give you an example, if I were to interview an electrical engineer to come in off the street, I wouldn't even look at his resume unless he had 10 years worth of experience. The negative thing is I'm going to have to pay 6 figures to get him to come with that type of experience. And then I'm going to spend a year grooming him in our BMW culture. So from the business perspective, it just makes more sense to bring in students. You can start them at a lower rate and develop them and have that longevity, as I mentioned. During COVID last year, the changes we've implemented into our program, everything we asked for was given by our senior management team. We initially asked for 150 positions. When the senior management was aware of the attrition, this was a wake-up call to them. And so everything we asked for, they gave us. And our president, when we said we need 150 positions for 2021, he said that's not going to work. We need 300. So he doubled it. And I'm happy to say we have 281 positions for summer and fall of this year, and we brought in 120 in January for the spring. So a little over 300, I'm very happy to say. But what separates us is if I were there live with you, I would be glad to look at your resume, give you some critique, but I'm not even allowed to take your resume with me. You must go through the BMWUSFactory.com website to apply. Very easy to navigate. Once you're on the career tab, you can see the student section, and then I call it the money tab. It's called Job Finder. You click that and you can see all of our open positions. But once you're there, upload not only your resume, but your transcript as well, because this is how we base your rate of pay on 30, 60, 90, or 120 credit hours or graduate level. So we want to know how to pay you and make the transition easy for you. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this slide, but a co-op program for us means 3 alternating positions. And so you would go to school for a semester, work here, and go back to school and repeat that process 3 times. We, however, allow students to do what we call a one-time back-to-back. So if you begin in the spring, you could stay through the summer, but our managers have to let us know 6 weeks after you begin if they want, if you both agree to do that. That gives you time to coordinate housing, to work out things with the university, but we never allow students to begin in the fall, stay to the spring. We know how adversely this can affect your academic calendar, and this is an agreement we have with all our university partners. The internship program is quite similar, but it's a much smaller project for the student to work on while they're here. And it's what we call a one-time period. We do allow a back-to-back rotation in that, but the same rules apply. The manager must let us know ahead of time. And then if anyone's graduating in May, I would strongly encourage you to go to our website and check out the PACE program. It's very unique in the auto industry or industry in general. So if I have an engineering major, believe it or not, your first rotation would probably be in something like supply chain. And you're thinking, why would they stick an engineering supply chain? Well, there's a neat thing that happens there. While you're in that role, you're going to learn how supply chain operates. We schedule 8,000 18-wheelers through our truck gate every day. We have air freight and train shipments that come in daily, and all of those parts have to be in the right part or the right place at the right time in the right order. We only have enough parts on our line to build cars for 2.5 hours, believe it or not. So scheduling that on-time delivery and just-in-time delivery is crucial. So as an engineer, you kind of learn those skills. But one thing that you add value to that team is that as an engineer, most engineers can troubleshoot things a whole lot better. They look at things 999 different ways, so you're adding value to the team. I failed to mention, but if you're accepted into the PACE program, you are not a student, you're a full-time BMW associate with all the benefits. After the 2 years rotation, most PACE graduates have their choice of 2 to 3 jobs to pick from, so that's not a bad situation to be in for a recent college graduate. I'm not sure of the recruiting timelines for that because I don't do recruiting for that, but you can get that information off the website. The GLDP program is something foreign to me simply because we have nobody in it due to COVID. I do know one of the qualifications is you must be fluent in a second language. It does not necessarily have to be German. We ship cars to 140 different countries. So many languages are needed. We have suppliers all over the globe that you could contribute with your language skills. But you'd work at Plant Spartanburg and then rotate to another site across the globe for BMW. I don't know when they'll open that back up, but I know it is on the website, so they haven't taken it away. But those programs are for recent graduates. Our primary focus in the past was paying students very well. We were asked to get really creative, and we only felt like we were touching the tip of the iceberg. And our Vice President of Human Resources had the best thing to say. She said, content of the program is the driving force, not just the compensation. So now we're below the iceberg, the more meat, as you would say. We're focused more on the development, work life, and lifestyle of the student. So we put those into what we call our 3 buckets. And we not only look at you while you're with us, but before and even after you leave. So you'll have a virtual handover. If there's an intern or co-op in the area that you'd be working in, we'd ask them to set up a Zoom or Skype call with you. and kind of introduce you to their area and maybe some type of the projects. Some of our stuff is secret, so we can't really let the public know until you're here, but they can kind of give you an idea of what they do. And then about a month before you begin, myself and my business partners will reach out to you. We'll set up a Zoom call with you or Skype call. And this gives you a time for question and answers. And we have interns and co-ops that are here to help fill the chat room. So definitely a great opportunity even before you get to it. Then if you're selected to come to BMW, we have what's called a Connect form. Even though we don't offer housing, we've already vetted apartment complexes in the upstate, so we know you wouldn't get stuck with a year-long lease. We have a list of host families that are BMW associates with rooms for rent, and you can take full advantage of that. But you can also start networking and connecting with other interns and co-ops. A few of my returning co-ops said they use the site to find a roommate. So it's a really neat way. It's kind of like a Facebook page. And since we don't offer housing, if you live over 50 miles from the plant, we will give you a one-time payment of $400 for a relocation benefit payable upon your first check. And then while you're with us, you'll have a development plan, a training plan, and you'll have a mentor. You'll be coached through this process. We have classes here for you. They're called e-learning classes, iLearns that you have to take. And then some you can actually print certificates out, and they look really nice on your resume. So we focus on the development of the student while they're here. And in the middle, you'll see what we call Team 10 perks. We are Team 10 simply because we were the 10th plant built outside of Germany. But simply by showing my ID badge, and students will have an ID badge too, you can go to local retailers and get discounts, restaurants, haircuts, car washes. Right now, Sports Academy has 20% off for all BMW associates at Christmas. The Reebok and Adidas outlet store in Greenville had 50% off. And I got my nephew a brand new pair of high tops for Christmas, and he was pleased as punch. So you have full advantage of those as well. We do not treat you as a student while you're here per se. You will have a uniform allowance. So after a week or two, nobody even knows you're a student. They think you're just a new young hire. Your input is highly sought after. We are very much a team-oriented environment. This is why I love talking to the Citadel cadets, because I was in the military myself, and I know the camaraderie and the teamwork skills you have to learn while you're there. So after you graduate, we feel we have prepared you for an entry-level position, and with your permission, we can stay in contact with you. We'll send out a quarterly newsletter, and if a job becomes available, we've prepared you for our BMW talent pipeline. I can do headhunting now. I can reach out to you, and for example, I could say, Cameron was the best intern I ever had. I now have a job open, or my buddy in another area has a job open, and I know you have the skills for that. I can call you and say, here's the ID number you need to apply online with. So that's one thing that I'm very proud to say we're doing now is headhunting for our recent graduates. Also, we'll have a competitive-based environment. So based on your training, development, and evaluation scores and recommendations for managers, the top 10% of students after you graduate will reach out to you and not only open jobs here at Plant Spartanburg, but to our other global sites as well. So really excited about that for the students. And the last thing I want to tell you is about our BMW Leadership Competency Model. The evaluation is basically an open book test. We give you the introduction on day one of orientation. Halfway through the rotation, your mentor or someone from the training department will do a mock evaluation with you. And then at the end of the semester, your manager sits down, does the evaluation, explains the score to you, and then with one click of a button, he sends it to Tyler. We've already got Tyler set up to receive all the evaluations, so you don't even have to carry it back to the school. But if we're treating you like a full-time associate, why would we grade you on anything different? So we use the same model I get graded on yearly. It's a 300-question model, but for students, we've reduced it down to about 35 questions that are applicable to them. But it's based on our 3 pillars of leading yourself, leading in teams, and leading in the business. So these are a little more introspective questions than saying, Jimmy, is he addressed appropriately every day? Well, if Jimmy comes in with his shirt untucked, I'm just going to simply say, look, the rules here, we're in a professional environment, is you need to tuck your shirt in. That's instant coaching for me. Whereas one of the questions I know in leading in teams is, how were you collaborative with your teammates? When were you the follower and when were you the leader? So these are a little more introspective questions, but as I say, you have an open book test, so you can be studying all semester for this evaluation. And with that, I want to thank you. I wanted to go as quickly as possible because I wanted to open the floor up to any questions and give you all the opportunity to ask anything that you would like.